The sun was setting on Helios 7, painting the rocky landscape in shades of orange and purple. Doyen wiped the sweat from his forehead and looked at the atmospheric processor in front of him. The machine was making strange noises again. He had been working on these terraforming machines for 3 years now, and he knew every sound they should make. This was not one of them. He pulled out his tools and started checking the connections. The mining colony depended on these machines to make the air breathable. If one failed, people could die. Doyen took his job seriously. He always had. As he worked, he heard something odd. It was a high-pitched sound, almost like crying. Doyen stopped and listened. There it was again. It came from the crystalline caves about 50 meters away. The colony had rules about those caves. Stay away from them. Don't explore them. The automated defense systems monitored them for dangerous wildlife, but that sound did not seem dangerous. It sounded scared. Doyen looked around. No one else was nearby. This sector was his responsibility today. He could ignore the sound and finish his work. That would be the smart thing to do, the safe thing. But Doyen had never been good at ignoring creatures in distress. Back on Earth, he had rescued 3 dogs, 2 cats, and even a bird with a broken wing. He grabbed his flashlight and walked toward the caves. The crystalline formations were beautiful up close. They caught the fading sunlight and scattered it into 1,000 colors. Doyen had seen pictures but never visited in person. Now he understood why people wanted to. The caves were amazing. The crying sound grew louder. Doyen followed it deeper into the cave system. His flashlight beam danced across the walls. Then he saw them. 3 small creatures huddled together in a corner. They were unlike anything Doyen had ever seen. Each one was about the size of a human toddler. They had 6 limbs and scales that shimmered with rainbow colors. Their large eyes reflected his flashlight beam, and they made that crying sound again. They were trapped. A pile of rocks blocked their exit. The cave had partially collapsed. Doyen stepped closer. The creatures pressed against each other, scared but not attacking. He knelt down slowly. "Hey, it's okay," he said softly. "I won't hurt you." His communicator beeped. A red warning flashed on the screen. Defense drones detected. Target: hostile wildlife in Sector 7. Extermination protocol activated. Doyen's heart raced. The system had found these creatures. The automated drones would arrive in minutes. They would kill anything classified as a threat. He looked at the 3 small aliens. They were babies. He could see it in their eyes, in the way they trembled. He had to choose: follow protocol and leave, or break the rules and help. Doyen made his choice. He ran back to his toolkit and grabbed everything he could carry. The drones were approaching. He could hear their mechanical whine growing closer. He had maybe 2 minutes. First, he needed to stop the drones. Doyen pulled out his emergency override device. It was meant for shutting down malfunctioning equipment. He had never used it on defense drones before. His hand shook as he entered the override codes. The first drone appeared at the cave entrance. Its weapons charged with a high-pitched whine. Doyen pressed the final button. The drone froze in mid-air, then slowly descended to the ground. 2 more drones arrived. He shut them down too. But the system would notice. More drones would come. He had minutes at best. Doyen rushed back to the trapped creatures. He started moving rocks, carefully avoiding the unstable sections. The ceiling above them groaned. This entire section could collapse at any moment. "Come on," he muttered, pulling away larger stones. The creatures watched him with their large, intelligent eyes. They seemed to understand he was helping. A loud crack echoed through the cave. Doyen looked up. The ceiling was splitting. He worked faster, his muscles burning. Almost there. Just a few more rocks. Another drone arrived, this one from a different security grid. Doyen had not shut down this one. It targeted the creatures and fired. Doyen threw himself in front of them. The energy blast hit his shoulder, and pain exploded through his body. He screamed but did not move. The drone recalibrated for another shot. Do-yun grabbed a large rock and threw it. His throw was terrible, but it hit the drone's sensor array. The machine wobbled and crashed into the wall. Blood ran down his arm. His shoulder felt like it was on fire, but he had cleared enough rocks. The creatures could escape now. "Go!" Do-yun shouted, pointing to the opening. "Get out of here!" The smallest creature chirped and touched his uninjured hand with one of its limbs. The touch was gentle, almost grateful. Then all three creatures scrambled through the opening and disappeared into the deeper caves. The ceiling groaned again. Larger cracks spread across the stone above. Do-yun tried to stand, but his injured shoulder would not cooperate. He crawled toward the exit. Rocks started falling. A large piece of crystal hit his leg. He cried out in pain. More rocks fell. Do-yun covered his head with his good arm and kept crawling. His vision blurred. The pain was too much. He could see the cave entrance ahead just a few meters away. Then everything went dark. When Do-yun woke up, he was in the medical bay. Bright lights hurt his eyes. His shoulder was wrapped in bandages, and his leg was in a support brace. A medical robot hovered nearby, checking his vital signs. "You're awake," a woman's voice said. Do-yun turned his head. Hyejin stood next to his bed. She was the colony administrator, and she did not look happy. "Do you know what you've done?" Do-yun's throat was dry. "I saved them," he whispered. "You violated containment protocols. You shut down defense systems. You interfered with native wildlife. The Colony Council wants you arrested." Hyejin crossed her arms. "You could lose your job. Maybe even get deported back to Earth." Do-yun closed his eyes. He knew the rules. He had broken them all. But when he thought of those three small creatures, their scared eyes, their grateful touch, he could not regret it. "I understand," he said. Hyejin sighed. "Get some rest. We'll deal with this tomorrow." She left, and Do-yun lay there in the quiet medical bay. His body hurt, but his conscience was clear. He had done the right thing. He knew it. Outside the window, night had fallen. The stars were bright in the alien sky. Do-yun watched them and wondered where those creatures were now. Were they safe? Had they found their family? Suddenly, all the lights in the medical bay went out. Emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in red light. An alarm blared. Do-yun sat up, ignoring the pain. A voice came over the speakers. "All personnel, emergency alert. Unidentified vessel entering orbit. Size massive. Origin unknown. This is not a drill." Do-yun looked out the window. In the sky above, something was blocking out the stars. Something huge. Something that should not exist. And somehow, deep in his chest, Do-yun knew. They had come for him. The massive ship hung in the sky like a second moon. Do-yun pressed his face against the medical bay window, staring at it. The vessel was not like human ships. It was alive somehow. He could see it breathing, its surface rippling with colors that reminded him of the small creatures he had saved. All around the colony, people ran in panic. Sirens wailed. Defense systems powered up, though everyone knew they would be useless against something that size. Hyejin burst into the medical bay. "Get dressed," she said. "Now." "What's happening?" Do-yun asked. "That ship. It's trying to communicate, and it's asking for you." Do-yun's blood ran cold. "Me?" "Yes, you. Something about the caves, about what you did." Hyejin threw him his clothes. "The military commander wants you in the main hall. 5 minutes." Do-yun got dressed as fast as his injured body would allow. His shoulder screamed with every movement. His leg barely supported his weight. But he managed. He had to. The main hall was chaos. Soldiers ran everywhere. Screens showed the alien ship from every angle. In the center of the room stood Commander Junho, a tall man with hard eyes. He turned when Do-yun entered. "You're the engineer?" Junho asked. "Yes, sir." "What did you do in those caves?" Do-yun explained everything. The crying sounds, the trapped creatures, the drones. Junho's expression grew darker with each word. You idiot, Junho said quietly. You saved alien offspring. Do you know what that means? Before Doyen could answer, every screen in the room went white. A voice filled the air. It was not sound exactly. It was more like thoughts appearing directly in Doyen's mind. Everyone in the room grabbed their heads. The sensation was overwhelming. I am Velshara. My children live because of one among you. Bring him to me. The screens cleared. An image appeared. The creature on the screen was massive, at least 8 meters tall. She had the same shimmering scales as the small ones, but there was power in her form. Her eyes were ancient and intelligent. When she looked out from the screen, Doyen felt like she was looking into his soul. That's not a request, Junho said. He grabbed Doyen's arm. You're going up there. Wait, Doyen said. We don't know if it's safe. Safe? Junho laughed bitterly. She could destroy this entire colony with a thought. If she wants you, you go. Maybe that keeps the rest of us alive. 2 soldiers escorted Doyun to the landing pad. A shuttle was already prepared. Doyun's hands shook as he climbed aboard. The shuttle lifted off, rising toward the massive ship above. As they approached, an opening appeared in the alien vessel's side. The shuttle flew through and landed in a chamber that seemed to grow around them. Everything here was organic, alive. The walls pulsed with soft light. Doyen stepped out of the shuttle. The air smelled strange but not unpleasant, like flowers he had never encountered. The soldiers stayed in the shuttle, weapons ready but useless. Velshara appeared from deeper in the ship. Up close, she was even more impressive. Her movements were graceful despite her size. She walked on 4 legs, with 2 arms held close to her body. Her scales caught the light and scattered it like diamonds. Behind her came the 3 small creatures. They saw Doyen and made happy chirping sounds. They ran to him, touching his hands gently with their limbs. Doyen could not help but smile, even though he was terrified. You saved them, Velshara said. Her voice was softer now, still in his mind, but gentler. You were injured protecting my children. They needed help, Doyen said simply. Velshara moved closer. She was so large that Doyen barely reached her chest. She could kill him with one movement. Instead, she lowered her head and touched his shoulder where he had been wounded. Warmth spread through the injury. The pain faded away. You are healed, she said. It is the least I can do, but it is not enough. You have given me the Kalaresh. The what? In my culture, one who saves the life of another's offspring creates a bond that cannot be broken. You are now family. My family. I will protect you as I protect them. She gestured to the 3 young ones playing at Doyun's feet. You are my responsibility now. I appreciate that, Doyun said carefully. But I have a life here. I have friends, work, a home. And now you have me, Velshara said. There was no anger in her voice, only certainty. Where I go, you go. This is Kalaresh. This is family. But I don't want to leave, Doyun said. Want is not relevant. You saved my children. In doing so, you became one of us. I will not leave you behind. I cannot. Back at the colony, Commander Junho watched the exchange on the screens. The alien ship was broadcasting everything. He saw Doyen trying to reason with the massive alien. He saw her refusing to understand. She's taking him hostage, Junho said. Prepare all weapons. Sir, one of the technicians said nervously, our weapons won't even scratch that ship. I don't care. We don't negotiate with hostage takers. Hyejin stepped forward. Maybe it's not a hostage situation. Maybe it's a cultural misunderstanding. She's refusing to let him go. That's kidnapping. On the screen, Velshara had surrounded Doyen with some kind of energy field. You will stay here, she said. It is safe. You will want for nothing. But I want to go home, Doyen said. This is your home now. Doyen felt panic rising in his chest. He looked at the three young aliens. They chirped happily, unaware of the situation. He had saved them, and now he was trapped because of it. "Please," he said to Velshara, "I'm grateful for your protection, but humans need freedom. We need to choose our own path. You chose your path when you defended my children. You chose family. I am honoring that choice." Down on the planet, Junho gave the order. Every weapon the colony had fired at once. Missiles, energy beams, everything. They all struck Velshara's ship and did nothing. Not even a scratch appeared on the living hull. Velshara's eyes narrowed. She left Doyen in the chamber and moved to what looked like a command area. With a thought, every weapon system in the colony shut down. Shields failed, power grids flickered. "You would attack me?" Her voice boomed in everyone's mind, angry now. "I seek only to protect one who showed kindness to my children. Your weapons are nothing. Your threats are meaningless. The human called Doyen is under my protection. Any who harm him harm my bloodline. Any who try to take him from me will face my wrath." The colony went silent. No one moved. No one spoke. The demonstration of power was complete. Hyejin grabbed the communicator. "Please," she said, "we mean no disrespect, but Doyun is one of us. Our culture values individual freedom. Can we not find a compromise?" Velshara was quiet for a long moment. "Your culture is not my concern. Doyen showed me what your people could be. He risked everything for beings he did not know. That is worth protecting. That is worth keeping." Junho slumped in his chair. "Send a distress signal to Earth. Tell them we have a situation." "Sir, Earth is 8 months away." "Then send it to the nearest colonial defense force. They need to know." The message went out. Help was coming, but the nearest ships were 48 hours away. For now, the colony was on its own. Inside the alien ship, Doyen sat on the floor with the three young creatures. They had brought him food, strange but edible. They seemed happy he was there. But Doyen felt like the walls were closing in. Velshara returned. She looked at him with what might have been sympathy. "You are afraid," she said. "Yes. You need not be. I will not hurt you. Never. But you won't let me go." "I cannot. It would dishonor everything you did. It would dishonor the Kalresh." She settled down nearby, her massive form somehow not threatening. "Perhaps in time you will understand. Family is not a prison. It is a gift." Doyen said nothing. He looked at the three young ones, at Velshara, at the impossible ship around him. He had saved 3 lives, and now his own life would never be the same. Outside, the stars continued to shine. And somewhere in the darkness, human warships were racing toward Helios 7, ready to save one of their own, or die trying. 2 days passed aboard Velshara's ship. Doyen had stopped counting the hours. Time felt different here, stretched and compressed at once. The ship itself seemed to know what he needed before he did. When he was hungry, food appeared. When he was tired, the walls formed a comfortable sleeping area. It was beautiful and terrifying. The 3 young ones never left him alone. They followed him everywhere, chirping and playing. Doyen had started calling them by the sounds they made. The smallest one became Kira. The middle one was Shen. The largest was Noel. They seemed to like their names. Velshara watched from a distance, always present, but giving him space. She had sealed the ship completely. No one could enter or leave. Down on the planet, the colony waited in fear. On the second morning, if it could be called morning in space, Doyen decided to try again. He found Velshara in the command chamber, her massive form connected to the ship through glowing tendrils. "I need to understand," Doyen said. "What is Kalresh really?" Velshara opened her eyes. The tendrils slowly disconnected. "Sit," she said. "I will explain." Doyen sat on a surface that grew from the floor to support him. Kira climbed into his lap immediately. He stroked her scales without thinking. It had become natural. "My people are old," Velshara began. "We have existed for millions of your years. We have seen species rise and fall. We have fought wars that consumed entire star systems. And we have nearly gone extinct 3 times. "What happened?" Doyun asked. "War. Always war. Other species feared our power. They attacked us. We defended ourselves. But each war cost us more. My people once numbered in the billions. Now there are less than 10,000 of us left." The sadness in her voice was overwhelming. Doyun felt tears in his eyes, though he did not fully understand why. "Children became rare," Velshara continued. "Each birth was precious, each life sacred. So we created the Kalresh. Anyone who saves the life of a child becomes family. It is our highest honor. It means they are worthy of protecting, worthy of loving." "But I'm not one of you," Doyun said. "That does not matter. You showed the heart of family when you defended my children. You could have walked away. You could have let the machines kill them. But you did not. You risked everything." She looked at him with those ancient eyes. "How could I do less for you?" "By respecting my choice to leave," Doyun said gently. "And if I let you go and something happened to you?" "If those humans who fired weapons at my ship decided to punish you, if you died because I was not there to protect you?" Velshara shook her head. "I could not live with that." "So this is forever?" Doyun asked. "Yes. You are mine now, as much as Kira, Shen, and Noel. I know your people do not understand, but this is who we are." Before Doyun could respond, alarms filled the ship. Not human alarms, but something organic, a deep thrumming that made his bones vibrate. Velshara stood quickly, her tendrils reconnected to the ship. Her eyes glowed bright. "No," she whispered. "Not here. Not now." "What is it?" Doyun asked, standing with Kira still in his arms. "Ravagers, a swarm. They are coming to this system." Doyun knew that word. Everyone in human space knew it. The Ravagers were the nightmare at the edge of explored space. A species that consumed everything in their path. Planets, ships, entire civilizations. Nothing stopped them. Nothing survived them. "How long?" he asked. 6 of your hours?" Doyun's heart stopped. "The colony. There are 15,000 people down there." "I know." "Can you stop them?" Velshara was quiet. "The swarm is large. Thousands of ships. My vessel is powerful, but I am alone. I could fight, but I would fail, and my children would die." "So you'll run," Doyun said. It was not a question. "I will protect my family. That is all I can do." Doyun looked down at Kira. She chirped softly, unaware of the danger. He thought of the colony below. Hyejin, who had been tough but fair, the other engineers he worked with, Taejun, his best friend who always made terrible jokes. 15,000 people who would die screaming. "I have an idea," Doyun said quietly. Velshara looked at him. "Speak." "You said I'm family now. You said my home is your home." Doyun met her eyes. "That colony down there, those people, that's my home. They're my family too. If Kalresh means anything, you should protect them. They are not my people, but I am, and they're my people. Doesn't that make them yours by extension?" Velshara stared at him for a long moment. Then, to Doyun's surprise, she made a sound like laughter. "You are clever, little human. You use my own culture against me. I'm trying to save lives, just like I saved your children. If I fight, we may all die. The Ravagers show no mercy. Then we die protecting something that matters. Isn't that better than running?" Velshara disconnected from the ship and moved close to Doyun. She lowered her massive head until it was level with his. "You would risk my children for humans you barely know?" I would fight beside you to protect everyone, your children, my people, all of us together. Something changed in Velshara's expression. A decision was made. Very well. I will defend your colony, but the humans must fight with me. I cannot do this alone. Doyon smiled despite his fear. I'll make them understand. Velshara opened communications with the colony. Commander Junho appeared on the screens, along with Hyejin and several military officers. They all looked exhausted and afraid. We're detecting a Ravager swarm, Junho said immediately. 6 hours out. We're evacuating, but we don't have enough ships for everyone. I will help you, Velshara said through the communication system. The humans stared in shock. Why would you help us? Junho asked suspiciously. You've been holding Doyon hostage. He is not a hostage. He is family, and he has made me understand that his family is also my family. I will defend this colony. Hyejin stepped forward. That thing is huge, but even you can't stop a swarm alone. I know. That is why you must fight beside me. I will share my technology. Link your ships to mine. Let me protect you while you strike them. Together, we might survive. Junho looked torn. Pride warred with desperation on his face. Finally, Hyejin put a hand on his shoulder. We don't have a choice, sir. It's work with her or die. Fine, Junho said through gritted teeth. What do you need? For the next 5 hours, the colony became a fortress. Velshara's ship descended partway into the atmosphere, becoming the center of a defensive network. Human warships, which had arrived ready to fight her, now linked to her systems. She taught their pilots new tactics. She strengthened their shields. Doyon worked as the bridge between the two species. He understood both human technology and the basics of Velshara's ship now. He coordinated between them, translating concepts and methods. Kira, Shen, and Noel played nearby. But Velshara had given them a job too. Their species had special senses. They could detect energy patterns humans could not. They would help find weak points in the Ravager swarm. Taijun, Doyon's friend, piloted one of the defense fighters. He sent a message to the alien ship. Hey, Doyon, when this is over, you owe me the craziest story ever. Doyon smiled. I promise. The 6 hours passed too quickly. Sensors detected the swarm approaching. Thousands of ships, each one a living weapon. They filled space like locusts. Here they come, Junho said over the communication network. Velshara's voice filled every ship. Protect each other. Trust each other. Today, we are one family, and family does not abandon family. The Ravager swarm entered the system. Every weapon in the colony powered up. Human and alien technology merged into one defensive force. And the battle began. The space around Helios 7 lit up with weapons fire. The Ravagers attacked in waves, overwhelming in number. But Velshara's ship became a shield, absorbing hits that would have destroyed human vessels. Her power amplified their weapons, making every shot count. Doyon watched from the command chamber, coordinating strikes. The three young ones called out weak points, their chirps translated by the ship into tactical data. Human pilots exploited those weaknesses. Focus fire on Sector 3, Doyon shouted. Shen found a gap. 20 human ships concentrated their fire. A section of the Ravager swarm collapsed, but there were so many. For every ship destroyed, 3 more appeared. We're not going to make it, Junho said grimly. Then Velshara did something incredible. She extended tendrils of energy from her ship to every human vessel. Power flooded through them. Weapons that had been depleting recharged instantly. Damaged shields repaired themselves. I will not let them fall, Velshara said. I will not let you fall. The battle raged on. The battle had been raging for 2 hours. Space around the colony was filled with fire and death. Ravager ships exploded in bursts of green flame. Human fighters weaved between the larger vessels, striking and retreating, and at the center of it all, Velshara's massive ship held the line. Doyen's hands moved across the alien controls without thinking. He had learned the system through necessity. Numbers scrolled across organic screens, energy levels, shield strength, weapons status. Everything was dropping into the red. "Velshara," he called out. "The shields are failing on the eastern sector." "I know." Her voice was strained. The ship was part of her body. Every hit hurt her. "Redirecting power." Kira chirped urgently from her position near the sensors. Doyen checked the display. "Incoming wave from above. 40 ships." "I see them." Velshara's tendrils glowed brighter as she channeled more energy to the upper shields. The Ravagers crashed into the barrier. The impact shook the entire ship. Doyen grabbed onto a support column to keep from falling. The three young ones tumbled across the floor, making scared sounds. "Are you hurt?" Doyen asked them quickly. Noel chirped a negative. They were scared but unharmed. Doyen helped them back to their stations. Even in the middle of a battle, he could not help protecting them. Down on the planet, Commander Junho directed the ground forces. "All defensive batteries, focus on the ships breaking through the orbital line. Don't let them reach the colony." Energy beams shot up from the surface. 3 Ravager ships exploded, but 5 more took their place. In his fighter, Tajin dodged through enemy fire. His wingman had been destroyed 10 minutes ago. He was alone now, but he kept fighting. "This is Fighter 7. I have bogies on my tail. Could use some help here." A human destroyer moved to intercept, its weapons clearing the space around Tajin. "You're clear, 7. Stay alive." "Trying my best." The battle was a dance of death. Humans and Velshara worked as one unit now. All the suspicion and fear from before had burned away in the heat of combat. They were fighting for survival. Nothing else mattered, but they were losing. Doyen could see it in the numbers. The Ravager swarm was too large. Velshara was giving everything she had, but it was not enough. Human ships were being destroyed faster than they could be replaced. The colony shields would fail soon. "We need to change tactics," Doyen said. "What do you suggest?" Velshara asked. Doyen studied the swarm patterns. The Ravagers were attacking from all directions, spreading the defenders thin. "We're trying to protect everything and losing everything. What if we concentrate our forces? Create a kill zone?" "Explain." "Pull back the outer ships. Let the Ravagers think they're breaking through. Then hit them from 3 sides at once when they're in close. Use the planet's gravity well to trap them." Velshara was quiet for a moment. "It is risky. If they do not take the bait, we lose our defensive position. We're going to lose anyway if we keep fighting like this." "You are correct." Velshara opened communication to all human ships. "Commander Junho, I am sending you tactical data. We are changing our strategy." Junho studied the plan. His military training rebelled against retreating, but he could read the numbers too. "Acknowledged. All ships, fall back to positions marked on your displays. Make it look real. Act damaged." The human fleet pulled back. Ships that still had full shields fired their maneuvering thrusters erratically, as if wounded. The Ravagers saw weakness and pressed forward, hungry for the kill. "They're taking it," Doyen said, watching the swarm rush toward the apparent gap in defenses. "Wait," Velshara said. "Let them commit." The Ravagers poured into the space between the planet and the retreating human fleet. Thousands of them, so many they blocked out the stars. They were seconds away from firing range on the colony. "Now!" Velshara shouted. Every human ship that had retreated suddenly reversed course. Their weapons, which had been powered down to appear damaged, came online at full strength. They fired as one unit. At the same time, Velshara released the energy she had been storing. A wave of pure power radiated from her ship, catching the Ravagers in the planet's gravity well. They could not escape. The kill zone became an inferno. Ravager ships exploded by the dozens. The survivors tried to scatter, but they were trapped between the human fleet above and Velshara's ship below. The colony's ground batteries fired upward, adding to the destruction. "It's working!" Taijin shouted over the communication channel. But the Ravagers were not mindless. They recognized the trap and changed tactics. The entire swarm focused on one target, Velshara's ship. "They know you're the key," Doyen said. "If they destroy you, the whole defense falls apart." "I know." Every remaining Ravager in the system fired at once. Thousands of weapons, all targeting one ship. The energy wave was visible even in space, a wall of destruction rushing toward them. "Brace!" Velshara called out. The impact was beyond anything Doyen had imagined. The ship screamed, a sound he felt in his bones. The organic walls cracked. Systems failed across the entire vessel. The lights went out, replaced by emergency bioluminescence. Velshara cried out in pain. She collapsed, her massive form hitting the floor hard. Blood, green and glowing, leaked from wounds across her body. The ship was part of her. The damage to it was damage to her. "No!" Doyen ran to her side. The three young ones were already there, chirping in distress and nuzzling against her. "I am sorry," Velshara whispered. "I could not protect you." "Stay with us," Doyen said. He had no medical training for humans, let alone aliens. But he could not just watch her die. "Tell me how to help you." "The ship. I need to disconnect, before I bring it down with me." Velshara reached for the glowing tendrils that connected her to the vessel. She pulled them free one by one. Each disconnection brought fresh pain. She shook with the effort. Outside, the battle continued. Human ships fought desperately without Velshara's support. They were brave, but they were dying. Junho's destroyer took a direct hit. The bridge exploded. His last words over the communication system were, "Don't let them reach the colony." "No, no, no," Doyen whispered. Good people were dying. People who had put aside their fear to fight alongside an alien. People who trusted him when he said they should work together. Taijin's voice came through, tight with fear. "This is Fighter 7. I'm hit bad. Engine's failing. It's been an honor fighting with you all." Doyen grabbed the communication system. "Taijun, eject! Get out of there!" "Ejection system is fried. But hey, I'm taking some of these things with me. Tell my sister I love her." Taijin's fighter rammed into a Ravager ship at full speed. Both exploded in a ball of fire. Tears ran down Doyen's face. His friend was gone. Junho was gone. How many others? Velshara lay on the floor, barely conscious. "I have failed you," she said. "I promised to protect your family, and I have failed." "You fought for us," Doyen said. "You gave us a chance." "It was not enough." The ship shuddered again. More damage, more systems failing. The shields were at 5%. One more concentrated attack, and they would all die. Shen suddenly chirped loudly. The sound was different from before. Urgent, excited. Doyen looked at the sensors. His eyes went wide. "What is it?" Velshara asked weakly. "Ships, coming out of faster-than-light travel, dozens of them." Doyen's hands shook as he brought up the identification data. "They're not human. They're not Ravager." The new ships appeared on the displays. They were similar to Velshara's vessel, organic and beautiful. But where hers was alone and wounded, these were many and strong. A voice came through the communication system. It spoke the same language Velshara used, that strange mix of sound and thought. "Sister of the stars, we heard your battle cry. We came as fast as we could." Velshara lifted her head. Hope and disbelief filled her eyes. "My people, you came." "We always come for family. And any who fight beside you are family to us as well." The Coriath fleet entered the battle like avenging angels. Their weapons were beyond human or Ravager technology. They moved through space like dancers, destroying enemy ships with elegant precision. The Ravager swarm, which had seemed unstoppable moments ago, broke apart. They tried to retreat, but the Coriath did not let them. Every single Ravager ship was hunted down and destroyed. In 20 minutes, it was over. The space around Helios 7 was quiet. Wreckage floated everywhere. Human ships, battered but alive, hung in orbit. And the Coriath fleet surrounded them, protective and strong. "The battle is won," the lead Coriath ship said. "Your colony is safe." Down on the planet, the surviving colonists cheered. They had lost so many, but they had survived. In Velshara's ship, Doyen knelt beside her. She was still bleeding, still weak. The three young ones pressed against her, seeking comfort. "You need help," Doyen said. "Medical help. Your people can save you, right?" "Perhaps," Velshara said. "But my ship is damaged. I cannot travel far, and my home world is 3 months away through dangerous space. Then we go there, however long it takes." "You would do that, after all I have done? Taking you from your home?" Doyen looked at Kira, Shen, and Noel. He thought of how Velshara had fought for his people, even when it meant risking everything. He thought of Taijun's sacrifice, Junho's last stand, all the humans and aliens who had died protecting each other. "You defended strangers because they were my family," Doyen said quietly. "How can I do less for you?" Velshara's eyes closed. A tear ran down her massive face. "Thank you." The choice was made. The medical bay on the colony was crowded with wounded. Doctors and nurses moved between beds, trying to save as many as they could. Hiejin stood in the center of it all, coordinating the efforts. She had taken command after Junho's death. The weight of it showed on her face. A message came through from Velshara's ship. Hiejin answered immediately. Doyun's face appeared on the screen. "How is she?" Hiejin asked. "Stable, but barely. The damage is too severe. She needs her people's medical technology." Doyun paused. "Her home world is 3 months away." 3 months. Hiejin closed her eyes. "And you're going with her?" "I have to. She's dying because she defended us. I can't just abandon her." "I know." Hiejin smiled sadly. "You never could walk away from someone who needed help. That's why you saved those alien children in the first place." One of the Coriath ships had docked at the colony. Its captain, a being who called himself Rexon, had come to help coordinate medical efforts and repairs. He stood near Hiejin now, listening. "The human speaks truth," Rexan said in heavily accented human language. "Velshara will die without proper healing. The journey is dangerous. The ship can support only one human for that long." "We could send a medical team," Hiejin said. "Your technology cannot help her. The ship and Velshara are one being. Only our people understand how to heal such wounds." "Then Doyen goes alone." "If he chooses to go at all," Rexan said. "We do not force. Kalresh is about choice. He must decide." Back on Velshara's ship, Doyen was packing what little he owned. A few changes of clothes, some photos from Earth, a data pad with messages from friends. It was not much for a 3-month journey. The door opened. Minji, the colony's head medic, entered. She had treated Doyen when he was first injured in the caves. It felt like a lifetime ago, though it had only been days. "I came to give you supplies," she said, handing him a medical kit. "Human medicine probably won't help her, but it might help you. It's going to be a long trip." "Thank you." Minji sat down beside him. "Can I ask you something? Why are you really doing this?" "Because she defended my home. She could have run when the Ravagers came. She could have saved herself and her children, but she stayed and fought. People I cared about died in that battle. Taijun, Junho, dozens of others. But thousands more lived because of her." "So this is about debt?" "No, It's about family. Doyun looked at the three young ones sleeping nearby. She was right about that. When I saved them, something changed. I became responsible for them, and they became important to me. Real family is not about blood. It's about who you choose to protect. Minji smiled. You're a good person, Doyun. Come back to us when you can. I will. She left, and Doyun finished packing. Then he went to the command chamber where Velshara rested. The Koryath had sent medical equipment, temporary supports that kept her alive, but she was still weak, still in pain. You should be resting, Doyun said gently. I wanted to speak with you, to release you from Kalresh. Velshara's voice was barely a whisper. I was wrong to force it upon you. Family should be a choice, not a prison. If you wish to stay here with your people, I will understand. My people will take me home. I'm going with you. Doyun! No arguments. You fought for my family. Now I fight for yours. That's what family does. Tears formed in Velshara's large eyes. I do not deserve your kindness. Yes, you do, and so do they. Doyun gestured to Kira, Shen, and Noel. They need their mother. I'm going to make sure they don't lose her. The next day, the ship prepared to leave. The Koryath fleet would escort them through the dangerous parts of space. Hyejin and half the colony came to the landing pad to say goodbye. We're naming the new district after you, Hyejin said. Doyun's Bridge, because you bridged two species. You made us see past our fear. I just did what felt right. That's what makes you special. Most people don't. Doyun boarded the ship for the final time. The organic doors closed behind him. Through the windows, he watched the colony grow smaller as they lifted into space. The journey was long and often lonely. Velshara spent most of her time in healing sleep. The ship flew itself, following paths through space that humans had never seen. Doyun took care of the three young ones. He fed them, played with them, taught them words in Korean and English. They taught him too. Their language, their history, their way of seeing the universe. They showed him memories passed down through their species, images of worlds and wonders beyond human imagination. At night, when the young ones slept, Doyun would sit and record everything. He sent data back to the colony whenever they passed through communication range. Information about the Koryath, about peaceful contact, about how two species could work together. Velshara woke more often as the weeks passed. The ship's healing systems were working slowly but surely. She would lie and watch Doyun play with her children, and something like peace would fill her expression. You are good with them, she said one day. They're good kids, smart, curious, kind of like human children, actually. All young ones are similar, I think. They trust easily. They love without question. We could learn from them. Yeah, we could. Doyun, why did you really come? The truth. Doyun thought carefully. Because I saw you and your children, and I saw myself. My mother died when I was young. My father raised me alone. It was hard for him. He worked 2 jobs to feed us, to keep us safe. I watched him sacrifice everything for me. When I saw you, willing to die to protect your children and my people, I saw him. I couldn't let you make that sacrifice alone. Velshara reached out with one massive hand and gently touched his shoulder. Your father raised a worthy child. I hope so. 2 months into the journey, they entered a region of space filled with stellar nurseries. Young stars were being born, their light painting the darkness with colors Doyun had no names for. The 3 young ones pressed against the windows, making sounds of wonder. Doyun stood beside them, equally amazed. It's beautiful. Velshara joined them, moving better now. Her wounds had healed significantly. This is one of the sacred places of my people, where we come to remember that even in darkness, new light is always being born. I wish everyone could see this. Humans, Koryath, all species. Perhaps one day they will. You have shown me that is possible. Your people and mine, fighting together, dying together, living together. That is the future I want for my children." Finally, after 3 months of travel, they arrived at the Coriath homeworld. It was not a planet, but a massive structure built around a binary star system. Cities floated in space, connected by bridges of light. Gardens grew in zero gravity. The scale of it was beyond human engineering. Thousands of Coriath lived here, the last of their species. When Velshara's ship approached, they came to greet her, and they came to see the human who had saved her children, who had convinced her to fight, who had traveled across the galaxy to ensure she survived. The welcome ceremony was overwhelming. Doyen stood in a great hall that defied physics, surrounded by beings who could crush him without effort. But they bowed to him. They honored him. "This human showed us the Kalresh in its purest form," the eldest Coriath said. "Not because he was forced, not because of culture, but because his heart knew what was right. He is welcome among us always." Velshara was taken to the healing chambers. The best doctors of her species worked on her for 3 days. When she emerged, she was whole again, strong again. She found Doyun in the gardens where he had been teaching Kira, Shen, and Noel about earth plants from a digital encyclopedia. "They healed me completely," Velshara said. "I owe you my life." "You don't owe me anything. Then let me give you a choice, a real choice." Velshara knelt so she was closer to his height. "You can return to human space. We have ships that can take you home in weeks. You will go as a hero, an ambassador. You will have gifts of technology and knowledge, or you can stay here. Live among my people. Be family to me and my children. Not because of Kalresh, not because of debt, but because you want to." Doyen looked at the 3 young ones. They chirped hopefully, but they did not beg. They would understand whatever he chose. He thought of the colony, of Earth, of everything human he would miss. Then he thought of the last 3 months, learning, growing, seeing wonders, being part of something bigger than himself. "I want to stay," Doyen said. "Not forever. I'll visit Earth. I'll go back to the colony sometimes. But this is where I can do the most good, teaching your people about humans, teaching humans about you, building bridges." "You are certain?" "I am." Velshara pulled him into a gentle embrace. The 3 young ones piled on, chirping with joy. Other Coriath who had been watching smiled in their own way. 6 months later, Doyen stood in a communications center, speaking with the colony. The image of Hyejin appeared on the screen. Behind her, he could see the rebuilt districts. Life had returned to normal. "How are things there?" she asked. "Amazing. Challenging. I'm the first human ambassador to the Coriath. They're teaching me things about space travel, energy, biology, things that will help humanity for generations. And Velshara? She's good. Completely healed. Her children are growing fast. Kira is learning mathematics. Shen loves art. Noel is fascinated by ships. And you? Are you happy?" Doyen thought about it. He missed Korean food. He missed Earth's sky. He missed friends. But he also loved the work he was doing. He loved the family he had found. "Yes," he said finally. "I'm happy." "Good. The colony is doing well, too. We're working with the Coriath on new projects, trade agreements, cultural exchanges, all because you built that first bridge. It wasn't just me. It was all of us, humans and Coriath together." "True. Come visit when you can. People ask about you." "I will. I promise." The communication ended. Doyen turned to find Velshara waiting. The 3 young ones were with her, ready for their daily lesson. Today, they were learning about Korean history and culture. "Ready?" Velshara asked. "Always." They walked together through the impossible city, a human and 4 aliens, family in every way that mattered. Doyen had defended the alien young when it would have been easier to walk away. Velshara had refused to let him go because that was what family meant to her. And in the end, Doyen chose to stay because he found where he belonged, not despite the differences between them, but because of them. He had crossed the galaxy to save a life, and in doing so, he had found his home among the stars.